Hello everyone and welcome back to your personal child specialist with Dr. Gaurav Gupta. As pediatricians, we always insist that children should be exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of life. However, due to many reasons, this is sometimes not possible. While constantly telling parents, mothers and the child's grandparents that they should encourage and give confidence to the mother to breastfeed the baby, we have to keep in mind practical limitations to this as well. So here are some common questions about formula feeding. Nowadays there is a whole variety of formula available in the market. In most children, if you have to give formula, the simplest cow milk formula usually works quite well. And you don't really need to look for expensive formulas, at least to begin with. So here are the common questions that I get asked for formula. For starters, do we need to sterilize bottle each and every time? And the answer is not always. A new bottle should always be sterilized for at least 5 minutes. But if you are regularly using a bottle, you may not need to sterilize it every time. You can wash it with hot soapy running water and it should be good to go. The next question: do we need sterile boiled water? And the answer is yes. The best way to do this is to bring the water to a running boil for 1 minute. Don't overboil the water, because in that case it may become very concentrated and the taste of the water may also change. The third question which I get asked is how to make formula and how much formula does my baby need? Making the formula is simply a matter of following the instructions that are always available on the box of the formula or on the tin itself. So carefully follow those instructions. Make sure that you're using a level scoop rather than a heaped scoop. Now what do I mean by that? For a level scoop, you need to make sure that the formula is absolutely flat. So one scoop would be one flat scoop, and that has to be mixed with 1 ounce, which means around 30 ml of water. So that's how you make the formula. So how much formula should you begin with? Well, newborns, when they're very small in the first 10-15 days, require very little formula. So you can start with just 1 to 2 ounce. Most newborn babies will take in the range of 1 to 2 ounce, that means 30 to 60 ml of formula. And this needs to be repeated every 2 to 3 hours as needed by the baby. Once the baby is older, the amount of formula will increase as per the need of the child. So if the baby is on mixed feeding, he or she is taking formula and breastfeeding together, well, in that case, obviously, the amount of formula milk required will be a bit lesser. Generally speaking, a 2-month-old baby requires somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 ounce. A 4-month baby requires something in the range of 4 to 6 ounce, and a 6-month-old baby may require something in the range of 6 to 8 ounce of formula every time they are being bottle fed. Coming to the next commonly asked question: how frequently do I really need to feed my baby? You said 2 to 3 hours for newborns and 3 to 4 hours for older kids. So, should I set an alarm? And the answer is no. For babies who are beyond 2 to 2.5 kgs when they are born, like they are not low birth weight babies, even newborn babies and definitely children who are older, they do not require to be fed according to any specific time frame. you need to feed them on demand. Technically, we call it breastfeed ad libitum. What that means basically is that when your baby is hungry, feed them. When they're happy, contented, sleeping peacefully, you can do your household chores, or more importantly, try to catch some sleep, because when they wake up, your sleep is also going to be gone. Okay? So, how do you figure out if the baby is hungry? Well, there are certain clues. The baby will become a bit restless. They might start sticking out their tongue. They may sometimes start sucking on the fists or on fingers. They may nuzzle towards the mother's breast. And of course, if you're a bit late, they'll start crying. Generally speaking, you should feed the baby just before they start crying, because if the baby actually starts crying or howling and becomes upset, then sometimes it becomes difficult to feed them. Remember, a crying baby does not necessarily mean a hungry baby. Sometimes baby just need to be cuddled. They just feel hot or cold or bored or wet. They're just trying to communicate with you. So, practically speaking, I tell parents that it is best to just wait before the baby is about to cry. Because many a times we have seen that, especially in formula fed babies, we tend to overfeed them because we interpret each and every action of theirs as a sign that they are hungry. With experience, most parents are able to figure out when the kids are hungry or not. But early, when the baby is very small, you may err on the side of caution and let the baby almost start crying before you give them feed. After making sure that the crying is actually due to hunger and not due to any of the reasons that we mentioned before. Is my baby drinking enough milk? I have tried to answer this question specifically in a different podcast related to breastfeeding also. And the same principles apply to formula as well. We need to look for a few things. The first one is, does the baby sleep well after a formula? If they sleep for 2 to 3 hours or longer, that probably means that the formula feed is adequate. The second one is, watch for the color of the urine. A diaper which gets wet at least 6 times in a 24 hours, and if the urine color is white or very pale yellow, that again suggests that the amount of feed is likely to be adequate. And finally, of course, the gold standard is checking the weight on a growth chart. Lots of these growth charts are now available online. Try to look for Indian growth charts, though for the smaller babies this may not always be possible. And of course, talk to your pediatrician, share your concern with your doctor, because they can easily chart the baby's weight, height, head circumference, and they will reasonably take care of all your anxieties and concerns. And now we come to some interesting yet very practical questions. And when I was a trainee in pediatrics, to be honest, I did not know the answer to these questions as well. Why so? Because as a trainee pediatrician, formula is considered to be very, very bad, the evil thing, while breastfeed is considered to be God's own nectar. While this is quite true, but the fact remains that so many people are on formula feed, rightly or wrongly, that we need to be able to answer their questions. So what are these interesting questions? Well, the first one is, if I make formula and the child does not drink it, how long can I keep this formula? And the answer is 1 hour you can keep it outside at room temperature if the formula has not been taken in by the child. Why so? Because as soon as a single feed is taken by the baby, the bacteria in the mouth will go into the formula, and formula, unlike breast milk, doesn't have any antibacterials. So immediately it will start going bad. So again, 1 hour in room temperature if it's a new bottle. As soon as the baby has taken a sip, you cannot keep the bottle for more than a few minutes, and if the baby is not drinking, you will have to discard the formula. Next question, can I make formula and keep it in the fridge? And the answer is yes. Most formula can be kept in the fridge for 24 hours. So for the sake of convenience, if you are a working parent, you may consider making 5 or 6 bottles and keeping it in the fridge as well. The third question is, what can I do if the baby spits out the formula? And the answer is, talk to your pediatrician. Spitting can be completely normal. If it happens regularly, if it leads to severe vomiting, severe colicky abdominal pain, rashes, diarrhea, etc., in that case, your pediatrician may suggest that you consider changing the formula. Sometimes you may try a different formula, which may be a soya milk formula. Nowadays we have formulas which are easy on the tummy, something like partially digested formulas. And of course, in very rare cases, we may need to go for completely extensively hydrolyzed formulas or even amino acid based formulas. Now, why am I using these terms? These are extremely expensive formulas which are required for extremely low number of babies. So for most children, a simple cow milk formula will do. As well as any of the more expensive formulas available in the market. Do talk to your pediatrician if you have any concerns about the formula that your baby is taking. And finally, we talk about the newer things which are added to formulas like ARA and DHA, and are they really needed? Well, ARA and DHA are special types of fats which are important because they cannot be made by the baby themselves. And in the natural course of things, they come through the mother into the baby through the breast milk. Now, we have good studies to show that for preterm babies, these are very important. And when we are trying to create formula milk, which is just like breast milk, it makes sense to add these two things. So when you add ARA and DHA to a preterm formula, you get better brain development and better vision. Unfortunately, we are not very certain that the same thing applies to full-term normal newborn babies. What do I mean by that? Well, the studies are not conclusive that if I give these two things, the DHA and the ARA, to a normal full-term baby, then it really helps the baby or not. So as of right now, it's possibly fine to just give the regular formula to your baby rather than spending a lot of money in trying to give these higher end formulas which the manufacturing companies claim will increase the IQ of your child or will make the child more intelligent or will improve the vision, because this has not been proven yet for a normal full-term baby. That's all from me. As always, keep commenting, keep sharing. You can write to me at my email, which is yourpersonalchildspecialist@gmail.com. And of course, feel free to leave your comments in the podcast or in the comment section of the YouTube videos. Till the next time, take care.